Welcome back to the Bad Influence Podcast, where we cut through the bullshit and get straight to the hard truth. Today, we're talking about one of the biggest barriers to success. Can you guess what it is? No? That's fine, because I'm talking about procrastination. You've heard the saying, the longer you take to start something, the harder it gets. Well, it's not just a cliche. It's a fucking reality. If you've been putting off that big goal or project, this episode is for you. Well, think about it. How many times have you told yourself, I'll start tomorrow, only to find that tomorrow never comes, right? I've done it my entire life. And that's because procrastination can turn a fucking simple task into a mountain of stress and anxiety. I've been there, and I'm sure a lot of you have been there. And right now, a lot of people like to procrastinate. I've seen it online, I've seen it with my friends, and I've seen it with my coworkers. So let's talk about why delaying action makes things harder and how you can break the cycle and start achieving your goals right now. Because that's what life is all about. It's about, creating something, going after your goals, feeling happy, fulfilled while doing it. And here's the problem. Procrastination is so common that a lot of people make it part of their personality. Again, I've seen it. And the one thing that a lot of people don't understand, and I didn't understand this as well, is that it affects all of us at some point. The issue isn't just that we're putting things off. It's that the longer you wait, the more daunting those fucking tasks become. Our brains build up these tasks as insurmountable obstacles, increasing your reluctance to start. And it happens a lot. That's pretty much why I delay so much on starting the podcast, because I was like, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to talk. The problem lies in the psychological buildup, though. Each day you delay, your mind amplifies the task difficulty. Oh, yeah. If you start today, it still is going to be hard. But then you say, oh, I'm going to start tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, and now you're like, oh my gosh, I have to work double. I have to work harder to actually catch up with the time that I lost by not starting yesterday. Oh, that's why it does. So it's like a snowball effect. The task grows larger and more intimidating with every passing day, which can lead to a cycle of anxiety and avoidance that's tough to break. You know what I'm talking about when you're like, you know what, I could have started yesterday, but I can do it tomorrow, or I can do it today. But you know what? I'm going to wait another week. I've done it. So believe me, it's fucking hard. I have been working on this for the last 10 years, and I'm barely getting the hang of it. Seriously, I'm not fucking joking with you. The problem is that fucking procrastination can have serious consequences on your personal and professional life, because you're going to have missed deadlines, broken promises, and lost opportunities can all stem from the habit of not taking action. It's not just about getting things done. It's about maintaining your integrity and living up to your potential. Because, especially at work, right? If you have a deadline for turning in something in a week, and you wait until the last minute, you may not be able to turn in that project. And then what happens? Your boss is going to look at you and be like, you don't have what it takes to go to the next level, right? It happens. Now, let me share a personal story. A few years ago, I had the thought of buying Bitcoin when it was less than a penny, I believe. I was really passionate about it. I did my research. I did all of these things. I kept telling myself I'd start working on it soon. Weeks turned into months, and the excitement I once had began to wane. I was like, it's Bitcoin. You know what? It's never going to go anywhere. And the longer I waited, the more doubts crept in. And the project started to feel impossible. I was like, you know what? Maybe I can do it. I don't know how to do it. I felt like I didn't know enough, even though I did. So because of this feeling, I asked for advice, and I was given the wrong advice and the wrong information, so I didn't buy Bitcoin. And obviously I regret it, but that's because of procrastination. I should have just gone with it, but I didn't. So one day, years later, a friend asked me if I had seen the price of Bitcoin. It was over $10,000, I believe. He had bought millions of Bitcoins. So he made a fortune. I was supposed to do the same, but I had to admit that I didn't buy when I should have. The embarrassment and disappointment were eye-opening because I was like, shit, I could have just retired. This experience made me realize how much time I had wasted and how much harder I had made it for myself by delaying buying Bitcoin. So I decided to take the plunge right then. When I decided to buy Bitcoin, I did a lot of research to understand it better. That small step made a huge difference. As I started to see progress, my motivation grew, and now I have a good investment, but it could have been a lot fucking better if I had done it when I should have, right? So because of this, I learned from it not to procrastinate, and I move forward, which is something that a lot of people don't do. They don't learn, and then they don't move forward. In this situation with the Bitcoin, I was like, you know what? I'm going to follow my gut next time. I'm not going to ask for stupid advice from somebody that probably doesn't even know what I'm talking about or what they're talking about, and I'm just going to go with it. And looking back, I realized that the hardest part was simply starting. Just buying the Bitcoin, for some reason, was a daunting task for me. But once I took that initial step, everything else fell into place. The longer you wait, the harder it fucking gets. And that's the fucking truth. So why do you procrastinate? It often comes down to fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, or even fear of success. That's right. A lot of people, when I talk to them, they show this fear of success. And the problem is that these fears create mental barriers that keep you from taking action. But recognizing these fears is the first step to overcoming them. Once you understand the root causes of your procrastination, you'll feel enlightened and empowered to take control of your actions. You're going to be all like, you know what? Sure, I may be scared. It may be hard, but I'm still going to do it because I'm going to learn. Another reason is the pursuit of perfection. You want everything to be just right before you start. You want the red carpet to be rolled out for you for when you start, so you don't have to deal with any setbacks, any failures, nothing like that. But here's the thing. Perfection is a fucking illusion. Waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan often means waiting forever. It's better to start imperfectly than to not start at all. And once you accept this, you'll feel liberated and less burdened by the need of perfection. You won't be chasing this illusion of perfection because perfection never starts at the beginning. Perfection is not the first step. There's also the issue of time management. You often misjudge how much time you have and how long tasks will take. I've done this my entire life. I underestimate time. When you do this leads to a false sense of security that you can always do it later. But by the time you realize the truth, it's often too late to avoid the stress and the rush. Again, I've been there, you've been there, everybody has been there at this point. I did it in school, I did it at jobs, I did pretty much anywhere. And lastly, we live in a world full of distractions. Social media, emails, and constant notifications pull your attention away from what's important. So it's crucial to create an environment that minimizes distractions and maximizes focus if you want to start and finish your task. That's pretty much what I did here in my office. There's no distractions. Anytime I need to work on something, I come to my office where there's no TV. I put my phone away and then I get to work. And you might be thinking, okay, I get it. Procrastination is bad. But how do I stop? Well, it starts with acknowledging that the first step is the hardest. Once you accept this, you can strategize to overcome it. Break your task into smaller, manageable pieces to make the start less intimidating. Just figure out how to break it down, figure out what's the easiest part, and then just start with that. Then move on to the hardest part, right? I use what it's called the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes to do it immediately. This can help build momentum and reduce the mental load of having too many small tasks piling up. Oh, I've seen people do that, and I'm like, dude, you're going to freak out. You're going to have a breakdown. You're pushing yourself too hard. And you also have to set a specific deadlines and hold yourself accountable. Share your goals with a friend or a mentor who can check in on your progress. Sometimes the added pressure of someone else's expectations can be the push you need to get started. In this case, my wife. She's the one that puts that pressure on me because I know what I need to do in order for me to take care of her. And if I'm procrastinating, we may not be able to take her to the best doctors or get her medication. So I have to do this. There's that pressure in this situation. But I like that pressure. That's good pressure. Another thing that I do, and I honestly recommend this, is to visualize the end result. Imagine how you'll feel once you completed the task or reach your goal. This can provide the motivation you need to take that first step. Remember, the discomfort of starting is temporary, but the satisfaction of completing something meaningful lasts much longer, which is honestly true. Another thing that you need to do is to get practical. First, create a to-do list with prioritized tasks. Start with the most important or the most dreaded task first. This often is referred as eating the frog. Once that's out of the way, everything else feels easier. That's something that I do sometimes in the morning. When I know that I can do it, I eat the frog and then move on to the easy stuff, right? Second, use time blocking to schedule specific periods for focused work. During these blocks, eliminate all distractions, turn off notifications, close unnecessary tabs, and create a workspace that promotes concentration. I put on music that keeps me on task, and by doing this, you'll feel empowered and in control of your productivity. Sometimes you can just put on your headphones, your AirPods, or whatever you're listening to, and just get in the zone. That's what music does for me. Sometimes you can use binaural beats to keep you on track. A lot of people do that. So just find what works for you. Third, set clear, achievable goals. Instead of saying, I need to start my business, break it down into smaller tasks like research market trends or draft a business plan, because smaller tasks are less overwhelming and more manageable. Lastly, which is something that a lot of people, for some reason, don't like to do, reward yourself for the progress. Celebrate the small victories along the way. This positive reinforcement can keep you motivated and make the process more enjoyable. And it honestly has done that for me, because it's about building a habit of action and associating it with a positive outcome. When you take action and you associate that action with a positive outcome, you're going to feel pride on it. you're going to feel like, you know what, I can do this. You know what, I'm gonna give it my all. That's how it feels, at least for me. And when I have helped people do this, they start to feel the same. So I believe in your ability to take that first step. I know you can do it. You're human, just like me. And if I was able to do it, you can do it too. But it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress. So don't let the fear of starting hold you back any longer. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and you have the power to take that step today. Remember, the longer you wait, the harder it gets. But the moment you start, you begin to build momentum. You break the cycle of procrastination and set yourself on a path to success. It's time to stop thinking and start doing. Because when you start doing, you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to be willing to learn, especially if you feel fulfilled or you like what you're doing. And it's going to push you to take care of yourself as well. Based on what you're doing, you might realize, you know what? I'm out of shape. I'm so out of shape. I can't think straight. I can't stand up for too long. And then you're going to start working on yourself. That's pretty much what the podcast has done for me. I was like, you know what? I have brain fog. I need to take care of that. I am out of shape. I need to take care of that. So that's pretty much what it does for you. So stop procrastinating and start doing. Your future self will thank you for this. Your family will thank you for this when you're able to take care of them. When your kids, when your wife, and even yourself don't have to worry about money because you started to do something and you went at it. You didn't procrastinate. You didn't wait for perfection, and you start doing your own stuff. And you can actually take care of yourself and others by doing that stuff. You're going to feel great. You're going to feel so much better because you're going to feel productive. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining me today on the Bad Influence Podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs that push to get started. Together, we can overcome procrastination and achieve our dreams. So stay motivated, stay focused, and keep pushing forward. Until next time, have a great day.